Yes.
All righty. You can count them, Carl.
Okay. And everybody's quiet. 3. Go.
Good evening. This is a City of Kettering workshop meeting. Today's date is January the 26th, and we will turn this over to Mr. Schwederman.
Thank you, Your Honor. And Steve, if you want to go ahead and put up the PowerPoint this morning or this evening, we've got just a few items to cover, and then we'll jump into an executive session and spend the majority of your time this evening in executive session. The first thing I want to cover is just the agenda items, Your Honor. And in case you didn't receive my text earlier, this is who's doing what.
Yes, I got that. Thank you.
All right. And we did have a few questions on the agenda this evening, so I'll cover those first and then take any questions you might have. In regards to the grant for the firehouse subs grant application for the fire department for a Polaris vehicle, that is a grant application. We don't have any inside information on whether or not we'll be awarded the grant. It's strictly an application at this point. And the application is consistent with what some other jurisdictions in our community are doing, in our area are doing in regards to these vehicles that can get you in spaces that medics and fire trucks can't. The main use would be for special events, go forth, holiday at home, things like that, but could also be used in areas like bike paths where we have a little tighter situation. It would be a typical firehouse subs grant. If we receive it, there's no match required. And of course, they promote the award recipients, but we're not required to put a billboard on the vehicle or anything of that nature, indicating where it came from. If we're successful in getting this grant, this would essentially make us a little more efficient than our bike patrol for the fire department at those large scale events. So again, no promises on this one. We don't know that we'll get it, but if we do, it's 100% grant.
Mark, does it have any equipment on it, or what's the equipment on it?
Yeah, I'll have, I think Chief Robbins is here. I'll have him answer that question.
Hey, Mark. Could you or Mitch send us a picture tomorrow, next day, of what one of these things looks like?
Yeah, we certainly can. If you Google Polaris, it'll come up, but we can send you something, absolutely. Chief Robbins, are you out there?
Yes, sir, I'm here. It's a Polaris with kind of the dump bag converted to a small outdoor medic unit. It has a patient transport area, a chair for a person to ride secured in while providing patient care, an area if we had to put someone on a backboard to transport them on the backboard, and then storage for EMS equipment. And then they would have the ER equipment, lights and sirens to get through traffic and crowds.
Thanks, Mitch. The reason I asked my question, where would it be stored when we're not using it? And the reason I ask that is the area that I can think of in Kettering that is really tight and has issues still, I think, is down at that Maple Crest area. And would that be a piece of equipment we might need to get down there quickly when the bigger apparatus is going to take a little bit longer to get there? So would it be stored, well, where it's going to be stored in terms of speed of getting somewhere?
Well, we would probably look at the most strategic place for the use. Obviously, we're looking at our large parks, golf courses, maybe getting someone off of a golf course.
Yeah,
so we would do the GIS study typically on, where the alarms would be, the need for, and store at the best location. It'll fit in one of the fire stations and one of the auxiliary bays that we do have.
Okay, it would be a rare occasion down at Maple Crest, but okay, thanks.
Thanks, Chief. The other item was the discussion was the resolution tonight, which amends a previous resolution, and that is related to the landscaping for the Shantz Bridge project. I'm sure you remember probably over a year ago now, we had a budget of around about $140,000 for landscaping for that project. However, when we put the project out at that point, the bids came back significantly higher. So the project was not done. And then in September, at the CIP meeting. The project was moved into the 2021 CIP. And the estimate we're using at this point is the same plan design as that 2019 plan. We've just updated the budget to reflect the bids that we received back at that point. So we have not modified the bids since then, but the number has been adjusted to match the bids that we received, and $200,000 is the amount included in the CIP budget for this year. Those were the two that I had specific questions on. Are there any questions about those two items or any other items on the agenda this evening?
What happens if we don't accept Rob Scott's resignation?
Well, I think you'll get a visit from Rob Scott. On a serious note, I did want to talk about the transition tonight during the council meeting. We'll have the appointment, I believe, of Mr. Folenkamp to the Regional Transit Authority. And then the next item is the video presentation for the Martin Luther King Essay Award winners. And Mayor, I guess I would say either I or Jackie, if she would like, could do a brief intro into that, just what the BCR is and what the essay contest was. And that'll give Carl and Mary time to queue up the video while we're doing that intro. So I'll leave it up to you all how you want to handle that.
Jackie, you want to handle that?
That'd be awesome. I was going to be part of my report, so that just moved earlier in the day.
Perfect.
All right, thank you. With that, I think, Steve, if you want to go to the next slide, it wouldn't be a council workshop if we didn't talk about COVID-related items. So tonight's COVID-related items is what we want to do moving past February for council meetings and workshops. So I'm putting this proposal on the screen. This is my proposal. Just really a discussion item for you all, and we'll decide how you want to handle it. We could go virtual through February, then go to an in-person workshop and council meeting in March. It could be hybrid, and what I mean by that is we could have a majority of council members in the chamber, and then if one member or two, given our new majority, or our new maximum number of 6, wanted to join by phone or Zoom, we could do that as well. The meetings would be open to the public, channel 6 for the council meeting, obviously. So if the public was participating or wished to participate, it would be standard operating procedure, if you will. They would come to the council meeting and have their opportunity. One of the reasons I'm throwing this proposal out there is that I know that we have a couple things that the in-person environment makes a little more sense, and that is the State of the City, which we could do on March 9th. And then also we have a Citizen Life-Saving Award that we'd like to make a presentation of and do that in person as well. So I wanted to throw that out there and see what everybody's thoughts are on that and their comfort level for coming back into the building for both the workshop and the council meeting. The current intention would be, again, my proposal for you to critique would be the workshop would continue to be in the lower level of the government center in the deeds room. As you know, when we tried the workshops up in the council chambers, just very difficult for everyone to hear up there. And it was problematic. So I think that would be in the deeds room. So with that, I'm throwing that out there. And
Mark, just a follow-up thing. It's my understanding, or I'm starting to hear, that this is similar time frame to what other communities are looking at.
Yes, sir. I've been trying to keep track of that. And as you know, the managers have a conference call every other week. A number of cities have gone back to either in-person or in-person hybrid. And the in-person hybrid is, as I discussed it, they have maybe one council member that would just rather phone in, if you will. So yes, that is happening. And I think it was 2 weeks ago now, Huber Heights told me they were going back to the in-person hybrid. West Carrollton is already there. Montgomery County is still virtual, I believe. But a number of communities have gone back to the in-person.
I like it.
I'm fine with it. I'm not doing the state of the city till we come back. That makes no sense. So, and by that time, my guess is, knowing the ages of the people on council, that everybody will have gotten both of their shots with the exception of young Miss Fisher. So
That's good. Since Rob's no longer the youngest.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I will have my second shot only a week or so before, but I can still do in person.
I have no
And we-
problem. I'll probably have at least my first shot by then.
But at least if those that prefer to call in, I mean, we don't know what the landscape's going to look like between now and March 9th. And if this variant comes rampant again, hell, that could change everything on March 1st. So as long as we have options as to, do it by home if you want to, I think that's fine.
Yeah. Plus, I think at least everything I've been watching the last few days is this seemed to have peaked around January 9th, and it's falling. So,
Yeah.
it just gives flexibility. If things are different come close to that first meeting, we change it. I don't know.
Yeah, the original's getting better. It's that variant thing that's now in Minnesota and Michigan, and that's headed our way. And I don't know what that means. Our shop may take care of that. Hopefully, we'll see.
I probably failed to mention, but I'll mention it now. And obviously, regardless of vaccination shots, we'll continue to follow all the protocols. So we'll make it as safe as we can in the environment we're in.
You're all back to work at the city, right? For the most part.
We have extended the work from home model through the end of February. But I would say we're certainly well above 50% in the office, probably closer to 75.
Mark, the Zoom from home would be apply to staff also. I mean, our staff's a lot younger than we are, and I don't want to put them in any kind of harm's way. Make sure they're comfortable with doing it from home.
Yeah, you may recall that early on in the workshops, when we were in the lower level of the government center in the Deeds room, when we had a number of staff that were going to participate, we put them on Zoom. And
yeah.
we would certainly do that again because we want to follow protocol and make sure we have plenty of distance.
Good, go for it.
Assuming we'll be in the hybrid model then, it looks like we will be in the hybrid model, even if some council members, none of them say they want to Zoom. With what you just said, it'll be available on Zoom for employees if they want to Zoom it, right?
Yeah, we could do the Zoom for the workshop if employees wanted to participate that way. The council meeting, we would probably, if we had a council member that wanted to do it from home, we'd do that probably in the manner that we did it before, which was a telephone.
Mm.
And I don't anticipate every workshop would have Zoom staff because, there are those times where it's just a couple of us.
But chances are that we will be in the hybrid model, and maybe one council member may want to Zoom. If that does happen, then does all the same Zoom social media, I'll call it for lack of a better term, will all that still be in effect then? For example, it won't be on MVCC Live, it'll be on Facebook Live.
Well, if it's in the hybrid model, we're open to the public. So the hybrid model would be the same as the model before COVID. The workshop, if you wanted to attend as a public, you would come to the workshop meeting. The council meeting, you would come to the council meeting.
In person is what Tony, so it's in person is what Mark's saying.
Correct. Yeah. Again, pre-COVID protocol for a public meeting. We would have a space available for the public in both venues.
So then the hybrid won't be Zooming a workshop then?
That's correct. As long as we have a majority of council members in attendance at the workshop.
Yeah. Okay.
Get out of here. Go on, Tucker.
All right. If there's no other questions on that matter, we will move forward with March 9th being an in-person workshop and council meeting. And as all things COVID, if things change, we'll be back to you. And if you have concerns based upon any changes, you'll come back to us. All right. With that, Your Honor, I think we are ready to go into executive session. And I believe you have the document for that.
Yes. Is there a motion to enter into executive session under section 121.06K of the codified ordinances for the purposes of personnel matters, labor negotiations, economic development, and negotiations with organizations or individuals?
So
LaShawn, is there a second?
Second.
LaShawn, call the roll, please.
It's workshop, sir. You're gonna have to do that yourself.
Oh, okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. We are in executive session.
Are we ready? Go ahead.
All right, Your Honor, I guess now we're back in workshop. I don't have any other agenda items for you tonight for the workshop. It's about 7:27, so we'll be live here in just a few minutes for our council meeting. Happy to answer any questions if there are any before we take a small break.
Any questions, Mark? All right, we'll be back and ready to go at 7:35.
Mr. Lauder, when are you coming back?
We will be back on Monday.